Today on the Lightroom Whisperer, we're going to talk about how to put your name or copyright right on your picture when you export it from Lightroom. It's called a watermark and it's really simple to do. Let's get right to it. Before we jump into it though, did you know that you and I could actually work live remotely one-on-one on Lightroom? Whether you're trying to troubleshoot an issue, learn the basics, establish a workflow, or go deeper into editing, a one-on-one might be just what you need. I'll pop a link down in the description below for more information. As for now, let's get back to today's lesson. Now, I actually did the edit to this in a previous episode. If you missed that, I'll put one of the links down in the description below so you can catch that one afterwards. I want to actually export this with my name directly on it. To do that, you have to do something called watermarking. In the previous episode, I exported it to a folder called Death Valley Winners, and it remembers the last export you did. So you actually see that still selected here. That's where I want this to go, so I don't need to change anything there. It remembers my previous sizing. All I need to do is come down to watermark, since that's what I want to add. Check that box, and right off the bat you see it's a simple copyright watermark. I don't necessarily know what that is, so I want to go in and look further. Go to Edit Watermark just below, and it opens up an entire window that shows you whatever you have typed in this box will appear, in this case, in this bottom left-hand corner. Now, if that's too small, too large, doesn't say the right thing, all that can be changed. So in this case, let's say I wanted to have my name. Maybe I don't even need the copyright there. And I might want it in cursive instead of in kind of a normal font. Since this is an Adobe product, there is a plethora of them for you to choose from. Let me just quickly go to one that I know is a cursive style in here. Let's see here. So you have a lot of options down here. Do you want a shadow on it? Do you want no shadow from it? Do you want really light and almost see-through, or do you want it to stand out? You've got an ability to change the size. You can change where exactly it lies within that little range. You have the anchor point. How centered do you want it? Do you want it in a corner or up above? So you really have a lot of ability to customize the way this looks on here. So if I was going to have this maybe at a club event, I don't necessarily want it in the very bottom corner, so I can pull my horizontal over here, my vertical maybe up a little bit more. That would look pretty good for that. So I think I like the way that is. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now I have a new way that I like this here, so it's going to allow me to give it a name. So let's say this is signature, and I'm going to go ahead and say create. Now this actually is going to remember the signature, and anytime I want to use this again, you might have noticed a lot of options up above when I first clicked this. These are all the ones that I've previously done. And signature is now saved in there. So anytime I want this exact application in that same corner, the same density, that's saved there for me. If I want to go and kind of maybe make an adjustment to that, it's going to want me to save that adjustment as a new one. So I might do signature 2 if I want a lighter version, or a little bigger or smaller on a different photo. In this case, since it's already selected, I'm going to just continue with my export. Okay, now that it's done exporting, let's head over to our Death Valley Winners. And then I'm going to take a look here at my shot, and you can see that on the bottom left-hand corner, we've got our signature. You can even do this with downloaded graphics within here too. So if you have like a company logo, that can sit there instead of the text or accompanying it. Now, I don't always want it to look that way. Maybe I want it to be more central and really hidden almost. So if I put it online and somebody tries to steal the photo, for instance, I can maybe try to change the contrast to make it stand out more. So let's go back in and just open up that again. We're going to go back to export since it's still selected. It's still just that one file. It still has all those things that we set before, but remembered we wanted the watermark because that's what we had it set as last time. We just want to change this a bit. So let's start with a new one just because why not? So edit watermark. We don't necessarily want this to be cursive maybe anymore, so let's go and choose a new font. That looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and change the location. Let's maybe make it more central, make it larger, change that opacity that's going to change how dark or how bright, how dense that lettering is. If we bring this all the way down to nearly nothing, you can barely see that at all. If you look really closely, you can kind of see the Y in the corner over here. If you really look closely, there's my L-E-A-R-Y right across there. I now have a hidden watermark in that shot. Maybe I want it in the sky. It stands out a little bit more, but still not very visible at first glance. But then, you know, you kind of look a little closer. Maybe I want it repeated down the entire shot. Watch this. If I take that and copy it, and then go to the next line below, paste, next line below, paste, next line below, paste, next line below, paste. Now I've got it running repeated down this shot over and over again. That way, you know, it's really in there. There's no way to really kind of get rid of that. You can't change it in one little area. It's going to stand out. Now, if it starts to, let's say right here, kind of distract, I can just bring that opacity down a little bit more. As long as you're at 1 or above, it's got some density to it that you can pull out by playing with the contrast later on. You know, if I'm at 3 on this or at 2 on this and you're scrolling through Instagram, you're not going to see my name on there. It's going to still look like a good shot, and it's something that's very usable. Let's go ahead and hit save on that, and let's call this multiple personality, and go ahead and hit create, export. And now when I go and I look at that picture again when it's done exporting, we can pull open our folder. Now we've got it overwritten with all of our nearly translucent watermarks down it. Personally, it's not something I do very often, but when I need it, it's nice to know that I can really customize each one of these watermarks for the individual purpose. I do know people, though, that do this with every single photo, whether it be this more hidden one to kind of disguise it online but be able to call it out, or they actually want the photo with their name right on there. That's about it. It's really easy to do, and it can add kind of that next level to your photos in some cases. From the Lightroom Whisperer, keep on Lightrooming.